I would now like to call to the stage Mr. John Rood from the Lockheed Martin Corporation, please.
Good evening. I'm John Rood, Vice President for Corporate Domestic Business Development and Operations at Lockheed Martin. And it's my honor to begin the presentation of the prestigious Grateful Nation Award. Since 2003, JINSA has presented this award to 6 young heroes who have distinguished themselves through superior conduct in the global war on terror. Honorees are chosen by their respective service and represent each of the 5 branches of the military and the U.S. Special Operations Command. This truly special award allows JINSA to show their appreciation for the men and women who work tirelessly to protect our freedom. Over the years, I've been very fortunate to attend many of JINSA's award ceremonies and to witness some of our best young soldiers receive this award. Every year I come away inspired by what they've accomplished and truly impressed by the dedication of JINSA to recognizing their heroism. Tonight I think you'll see is no exception, as we have 6 remarkable honorees with us this evening. I would like to call to the stage representatives from each of the 5 military services and the U.S. Special Operations Command to present the Grateful Nation Award to their respective servicemen. After I call your name, if you would please come to the stage. From the United States Army, Lieutenant General Karen Dyson. From the United States Marine Corps, Major General Charles Hudson. From the United States Navy, Vice Admiral Herman Shalansky. From the United States Coast Guard, Vice Admiral Sandra Stas. From the United States Air Force, Lieutenant General John B. Cooper. And from the United States Special Operations Command, Lieutenant General Thomas Trask. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
At this time, I would like to invite Congressman Ed Royce to join the GNA presenters on stage for the presentation of the Grateful Nation Awards. Representing the United States Army, Major Lee Spence Wallace. Be seated. Major Lee Spencer Wallace distinguished himself with valorous service as a proven combat leader in the global war on terrorism. As a member of the historic 3rd Infantry Division, Major Wallace and his platoon were one of the first combat elements to enter Baghdad in April of 2003. During combat operations, then First Lieutenant Wallace's vehicle was engaged with an RPG, wounding him during the attack. Although wounded, then First Lieutenant Wallace regained control of his crew and moved his vehicle in front of his platoon to aggressively maneuver and destroy the RPG team. For his actions, he was awarded the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star. Major Wallace then volunteered for and was selected into the 75th Ranger Regiment. There he was again recognized for his combat leadership, with successful tours in both Iraq and Afghanistan as a member of a joint strike force conducting joint special operations raids and missions. He was hand-selected as Rifle Company commander of a 141-man air assault rifle company that conducted counterinsurgency operations over 4 Afghan districts. Major Wallace's most recent combat contributions included distinguished service on his 6th combat deployment, conducting joint special operations raids as a Ranger Company commander, for the 1st Ranger Battalion while deployed to Afghanistan. Major Wallace is one of the bright young leaders in the United States Army. He inspires the soldiers under him to excel at the toughest of missions. As a combat-tested leader in the global war on terrorism, Major Wallace is most deserving of this prestigious award. Representing the United States Marine Corps, Sgt Amanda J Eason. Please. Sgt Amanda J Eason distinguished herself both on and off the battlefield. She enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2008 and was deployed to Afghanistan from January 2010 to August 2010 in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, where she participated in over 30 convoy missions as a motor vehicle operator. On April 20th, 2010, then Lance Corporal Eason went on a routine recon mission to find a secure route to Musakala for resupply. The Marines came across a vacant compound where a vehicle struck an improvised explosive device. As Assistant Convoy Commander, she was called up to assist the downed vehicle when her vehicle struck 2 improvised explosive devices. She was wounded in action and later received the Purple Heart and Combat Action Ribbon. During this deployment, then Corporal Eason was also attached to the 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marine Division, as part of a female engagement team, which allows U.S. forces to communicate with women in Afghanistan without breaking cultural norms. She completed over 25 patrols with the mission of gathering information from the local female population regarding Taliban forces in the area. Sergeant Eason also distinguished herself as a career planner, ensuring that all Marines in her commands were briefed on career options, incentives, and benefits to make informed decisions about submitting for reenlistment. For her outstanding service to the Marine Corps, she was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. Her exceptional professional ability and devotion to duty in combat and in garrison warrant the recognition associated with the Grateful Nation Award. Representing the United States Navy, Petty Officer First Class John Palomarez. Petty Officer First Class John Palomarez distinguished himself as an exceptional sailor who has served in the United States Navy for the past 14 years. He recently returned from a tour of duty in Afghanistan with the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, where he served as the lead medical corpsman and medical trainer for Afghani forces. As lead corpsman while forward deployed, he led a staff of 8 junior corpsmen and 10 Afghani medical personnel in the day-to-day operations of his remote clinic. Petty Officer Palomares amassed 50 outside-the-wire patrols while in theater, and his expert leadership was essential in the crucial treatment of battle wounds for U.S. and host nation forces and the surrounding civilian population. While deployed to Helmand Province in 2013, Petty Officer Palomares was responsible for the command and control of a major mass casualty event when 2 Afghani buses collided and approximately 50 civilians were brought in for medical assistance with multiple major trauma cases. Due to his steadfast leadership and superlative knowledge, he was able to control the situation and prevent any loss of life. Petty Officer Palomares is currently serving at the Naval Research Laboratory as the independent duty corpsman and leading petty officer, directing all operations of the branch medical clinic that supports 2,500 active duty and Navy civilian employees. Petty Officer Palomares has excelled at sea, overseas, and in boot-on-the-ground environments. His dedication to duty makes him most deserving of JINSA's Grateful Nation Award. Representing the United States Coast Guard, Chief Machinery Technician William Haynes. Chief Machinery Technician William Haynes displayed exceptional service while deployed in support of Operations Enduring Freedom and Operation Resolute Support from June 2014 to May 2015. Serving as a redeployment assistance and inspection detachment team supervisor for Bagram Airfield and Arafat, Kuwait, Chief Haynes led a rotating crew of the Coast Guard's most forward deployed members. Chief Haynes was personally responsible for the inspection of over 2,200 containers and training of 110 Department of Defense personnel, ensuring that all hazardous material leaving the theater was in compliance with international U.S. and Department of Defense regulations. He displayed superior service in creating a container repair yard in Bagram that was pivotal in the onward movement of high-priority Department of Defense cargo, while also saving an estimated $5 million in container acquisition costs. Chief Haynes' leadership and devotion to duty were indispensable in one of the largest redeployment and retrograde operations in U.S. military history. Through his actions, he has exemplified the Coast Guard's core values of honor, respect, and devotion to duty. Representing the United States Air Force, Technical Sergeant James P. Fitzgerald. Technical Sergeant James P. Fitzgerald distinguished himself as an explosive ordnance disposal team leader, 96th Civil Engineer Squadron, 96th Civil Engineer Group. Sergeant Fitzgerald showcased his leadership during Operations Enduring Freedom and the Iraqi Freedom throughout several deployments for a total of over 900 days. He directed a 3-person team through 439 combat missions with 226 route clearance patrols, neutralizing 210 improvised explosive devices, the #1 killer of coalition forces. During one patrol, he engaged Taliban fighters and directed suppressing fire during an hour-long attack that repelled the enemy and allowed movement of his unit. During his deployment, Sergeant Fitzgerald cleared over 100,000 square miles, an area the size of Colorado, of IED-laden routes, and cleared 77 ordnance caches that denied the enemy use of over 3,000 munitions and 19,000 pounds of explosives. He performed 122 post-blast analyses, resulting in the prosecution of 26 individuals, and trained both U.S. and Afghan soldiers on IED techniques. Sergeant Fitzgerald utilized his combat life-saving skills for a wounded soldier during a vehicle rollover, stabilizing her until medical personnel arrived. He has led and worked with the U.S. Secret Service twice to protect high-level dignitaries, including the President of the United States and First Family. Technical Sergeant Fitzgerald is the recipient of the Air Force Achievement Medal. The distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Fitzgerald reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Representing the United States Special Operations Command, Captain Eric Barger. Captain Barger could not be with us this evening. Accepting the award on his behalf is Major Stephen C. Flanagan, Operations Officer, 3rd Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group. Captain Eric Barger distinguished himself while conducting counterterrorism operations in support of Operation Juniper Shield from October 2014 to March 2015 in the AFRICOM area of responsibility. While assigned as the commander of Special Forces Operational Detachment Alpha 0333 and Joint Planning and Assistance Team in Difa, Niger, Captain Barger supervised the combat-focused training of 145 soldiers from the 3rd Compagnie Antiterroriste of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Captain Barger led 11 successful combined advise and assist patrols with the Nigerian anti-terrorist element, and also advised on numerous other operations that resulted in the detention of 25 Boko Haram members and the elimination of 2 suicide bombers. In February 2015, Boko Haram conducted its first real-world cross-border attack into Niger. Due to Captain Barger's planning and advising, the Nigerian armed forces were able to prevent the Difa Bridge, critical terrain connecting Niger and Nigeria, from falling into the hands of Boko Haram. His actions directly contributed to defeating this large-scale Boko Haram attack and likely saved the lives of hundreds of Nigerian soldiers and civilians. Both the U.S. ambassador to Niger and senior Nigerian military officials commended Captain Barger's performance as a commander during major overseas contingency operations. He ensured timely and accurate information on the developing situation in the southeast portion of Niger during a crucial period of Boko Haram aggression. His leadership and determination greatly improved the coordination, cohesion, and performance of several different militaries to include Nigerian, French, and Canadian units. I would now like to call to the stage General Paul Hester from General Electric. General Hester participated in JINSA Generals and Admirals program in 2010.
Thank you very much. My participation in the Generals and Admirals trip, I think, is a true testament to the success of the JINSA programs that you heard laid out tonight. And tonight is another success as we celebrate once a year with these fine young men, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, and Coast Guardsmen, who are in fact recipients of this award. GE is proud to stand and support JINSA as they do make these awards each year. That doesn't tell the whole story, though, of the success of these who went forward. For it is a host of family members, extended family, and friends who in fact support them to allow them to do their job when they are deployed over there. So I'd like to double down on tonight, and I'd like to ask all of those who are the family and the close personal friends here to support these wonderful Americans here on this stage to please stand and let us show our appreciation to you one more time. Thank you for the support and the sacrifices that you give to the United States.